I gave everything to everyone. Then I realized no one was there for me. I didn't notice it right away. That's the part that still gets me. Because if you had asked me back then who I was, I would have answered without hesitation. I'm the one people can count on. And I meant it. I was always there, always available, always ready to help, to listen, to fix, to show up. It didn't matter what I had going on. If someone needed me, I was there. No questions asked. It first. It felt like something to be proud of, being dependable, being strong, being the person everyone trusts. It gave me a sense of purpose, a role, something clear. Because in a world where everything feels uncertain, being needed feels like certainty. It feels like value, like you matter. And I held on to that tightly. I didn't realize when it stopped being a choice and started becoming my identity. It just happened slowly. Over time, people started coming to me more for advice, for support, for solutions, and I never said no, even when I was tired, even when I didn't have the energy, even when something inside me wanted to step back. I ignored that voice because saying no felt wrong, like I was letting someone down, like I was failing at the one thing I was good at. So I kept saying yes over and over again, and the more I gave, the more it was expected, not in a cruel way, not intentionally, just naturally. Because when you show people you'll always be there, they start to believe it, they start to rely on it, and eventually, they stop questioning it. And I didn't question it either. At least, not at first, because I told myself this is what good people do. They show up, they support, they give, without keeping score. And I believed that. I still do, in a way. But I didn't understand something back then. Giving without boundaries isn't kindness, it's self-neglect. And I didn't see that, not until much later. At some point, things started to feel different, not drastically, just slightly off. I started feeling more tired than usual, not just physically, emotionally, mentally, like I was carrying something heavy, but couldn't put it down, because every time I tried, something else came up, someone else needed something, and I would drop everything and show up again and again and again. But something inside me started to shift. Quietly, I began noticing small things, like how drained I felt after conversations, even the ones that used to feel easy. How I would finish helping someone, and instead of feeling fulfilled, I felt empty. That confused me, because helping people was supposed to make me feel good. That's what I told myself. That's what I built my identity around. So why did it feel different now? I didn't have an answer. So I ignored it, like I ignored everything else, pushed it aside, kept going, because stopping didn't feel like an option. And then came the moment that changed everything. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't a big event. It was actually something very small, which is why it hit so hard. I was going through a difficult time, nothing visible on the outside, but inside, I was overwhelmed, exhausted, mentally drained in a way I couldn't explain. And for the first time in a long time, I needed someone, not in a casual way, in a real way. I needed support, understanding, just someone to be there, the way I had been there for so many people. So I reached out, not to everyone, just to a few people I thought I could count on, people I had shown up for countless times, people I had listened to, supported, helped through their worst moments. I didn't ask for much, just conversation, just presence, just something. And the responses? They weren't what I expected. Some didn't reply at all. Some replied hours later, short, distant, like they didn't really have time. Others said things like, "You'll be fine," or "Stay strong." And that was it. No real conversation. No real support. No effort to understand. And I remember sitting there, looking at my phone, reading those messages, feeling something I hadn't felt before. Not anger, not even sadness at first, just confusion, because it didn't make sense. How could I give so much to people? And when I needed something back, there was nothing there? I started questioning everything. Maybe I expected too much. Maybe people just show support differently. Maybe I wasn't clear enough. So I tried again, reached out again. In different ways, but the result was the same: distance, silence, minimal effort. And that's when it hit me. Not all at once, but slowly, painfully. I had built relationships where I was the support, not the one being supported. I had taught people how to treat me. By always being the one who gives, without ever asking for anything in return. And now, when I needed something, they didn't know how to respond, because that's not the role I played in their lives. I was the strong one, the reliable one, the one who handles everything, not the one who needs help. And that realization, it hurt more than anything, because it wasn't just about them. It was about me, about how I had shown up, about what I had allowed, about what I had never expressed. I sat there for a long time, thinking about everything. Every time I said yes when I wanted to say no, every time I ignored my own needs, every time I chose someone else over myself. And for what? To feel valued? To feel needed? Because now, in the moment, I actually needed support. I felt completely alone, and that's a different kind of loneliness. Not the kind where you're physically alone, but the kind where you realize you've been surrounded by people, but still don't feel supported. That moment changed something in me, not instantly, but deeply, because for the first time, I saw the imbalance clearly, and I couldn't unsee it. I couldn't go back to pretending everything was fine, because it wasn't. And the hardest part, I didn't know what to do with that realization, because changing it meant changing myself, and that was something I had never really done before. That realization didn't turn into action right away. If anything, it made me freeze, because once you see something clearly, you have two choices. You either change it, or you continue living with it, knowing exactly what it is. And I didn't feel ready to change, not yet, because changing meant doing something I wasn't comfortable with, setting boundaries, saying no, speaking up, all things that felt unnatural to me, almost wrong. So instead, I stayed where I was, but I couldn't pretend anymore. That was the difference. Every time someone came to me with a problem, I felt it. Not just the desire to help, but the weight of it, the cost, the part of me that was getting tired. And for the first time, I noticed that voice, the one that had always been there, but I ignored, the one that said, "You don't have to do this." And instead of pushing it away immediately, I paused, just for a moment, and that pause felt uncomfortable, because I wasn't used to it. I was used to reacting. Saying yes without thinking. Stepping in automatically. But now, there was space. And in that space, there was a choice. Not a big one, just a small one. Do I respond the same way I always have? Or do I listen to myself? For once, that first moment, it felt heavy, like I was about to break a rule. Not someone else's rule, my own. Because I had built this internal expectation that I should always be there. And no matter what, and going against that felt like I was doing something wrong. But I did it anyway. I didn't say no completely. I just didn't give everything. I responded, but I didn't go all in. I didn't drop everything. I didn't take full responsibility for something that wasn't mine. And even that small shift, it felt huge. Because afterward, I sat there with this strange feeling, guilt, immediate, strong, like I had failed someone, like I had become selfish, and my mind started talking. You should have done more. They needed you. That's not who you are. And for a moment, I almost went back, almost messaged again, almost gave more, just to get rid of that feeling. But I didn't. I stayed with it, even though it was uncomfortable, because deep down, I knew something. That discomfort wasn't wrong. It was just unfamiliar. I had trained myself for years to put others first. So, of course, doing something different would feel strange. That didn't mean it was wrong. It just meant it was new. That moment. It was small, but it was the beginning. Because once you realize you have a choice, you can't go back to automatic behavior the same way. You start noticing it everywhere. Every conversation, every request, every moment where you feel that internal pull. And I started asking myself something simple. Do I actually have the capacity for this right now? Not can I do it, but should I? And those are very different questions, because the truth is, I could handle a lot. I always had. But just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. And that distinction, it changed everything. Slowly, I started making different choices, not drastic ones, not cutting people off, not becoming distant, just more aware, more intentional. There were times I still said yes, but now it was a real yes, not automatic, not forced. There were also times I said no, or not right now, or I can't give this the attention it deserves. And every time I did that, it got a little easier. The guilt didn't disappear overnight, but it softened. Because I started seeing something. The world didn't fall apart when I wasn't available. People found other solutions, handled things differently, moved forward, and that realization, it was freeing. Because it showed me something I had been carrying for too long. I wasn't responsible for everything. I never was. I just believed I was, and that belief had shaped how I lived. But now, that was changing, and as it changed, so did my relationships. Not all at once, but gradually. Some people noticed, some didn't, some respected it, others reacted. There were moments where people seemed surprised, moments where I felt a shift in how they responded to me. And that was hard, because it made me question myself again. Am I becoming someone different? Am I losing connections? But then I realized something important. I wasn't losing anything real. I was just changing the dynamic, and real connections, they adjust, they grow. They don't depend on one person giving everything all the time. And the ones that couldn't adjust, that told me something too, something I needed to see. Not everyone who relies on you is there for you. And that's a hard truth, but an important one, because it helps you understand where your energy is going and whether it's being returned in a meaningful way. Over time, I started feeling something I hadn't felt in a long time. Space. Not just physically, but emotionally, mentally. Like, I wasn't constantly carrying everything anymore. Like I had room to breathe, room to think, room to exist without always being needed. And in that space, something else came up, a question, simple, but powerful. What do I need? It sounds basic, but for me, it wasn't, because I had spent so long focusing on what everyone else needed that I didn't even know how to answer that at first. There was silence. Then slowly, answers started to come. Rest, time, alone, moments without responsibility, conversations where I didn't have to be the strong one, things I had ignored for years, things I had told myself weren't important, but they were more than I realized. And as I started giving myself those things, something shifted again. I felt more balanced, more grounded, more present, not just for others, but for myself. And that changed how I showed up in everything. Because now, I wasn't giving from exhaustion. I wasn't showing up out of obligation. I was choosing, and that made all the difference. Looking back, I understand something now that I didn't before. Giving isn't the problem. Caring isn't the problem. The problem is forgetting yourself in the process. And that's what I had done without realizing it, without questioning it. But now I was learning slowly, uncomfortably, honestly, and for the first time in a long time. I wasn't just there for everyone else anymore. I was starting to be there for myself too, being there for myself. That was the part I never learned, not because I didn't want to, but because I didn't know how. For most of my life, being strong meant being available. It meant solving problems. It meant showing up without hesitation. It meant putting everything else aside and stepping in. And I got really good at that. So good that I didn't realize I had completely skipped something important. Learning how to show up for me, not just in big moments, but in small, everyday ways. Listening to myself, respecting my limits, paying attention to what I felt before it became too much. That was new, and honestly, it felt uncomfortable at first because it went against everything I had practiced for years. There were moments where I caught myself about to fall back into old patterns, saying yes too quickly, taking on something that wasn't mine, stepping into situations where I knew I would end up drained. And sometimes I still did. I'm not going to pretend I changed overnight. I didn't. There were days where I slipped back into that familiar role, the one who gives everything, the one who carries more than they should. But the difference now was awareness. I noticed it, I felt it, and instead of ignoring it, I reflected on it. What made me say yes? Why did I feel responsible for that? What was I trying to prove? Those questions started to guide me, not in a harsh way, not with judgment, but with curiosity. Because I wasn't trying to blame myself, I was trying to understand myself. And the more I understood, the easier it became to choose differently. I started recognizing patterns, how I would step in when I sensed someone struggling, even if they didn't ask. How I would overextend myself just to avoid feeling like I disappointed someone. How I would prioritize harmony over honesty, just to keep things smooth. And once I saw those patterns clearly, I couldn't unsee them. But more importantly, I could interrupt them. Not every time, but enough to create change. One of the biggest shifts came when I stopped trying to be everything for everyone. That idea, it sounds obvious, but when you've built your identity around it, letting go of that role feels like losing a part of yourself. Because if you're not the one who's always there, then who are you? That question came up a lot, and at first, it felt uncomfortable, like I was stepping into something unknown. But over time, I realized something. I wasn't losing myself, I was meeting myself for the first time. Because the version of me that existed before was built around other people's needs, not mine. And now, I was creating space to discover who I was without that pressure, what I liked, what I needed, what I valued, outside of being useful. And that process, it changed everything. My relationships became more balanced, not perfect, but real. Some people stepped closer, they understood. They respected the changes. They met me where I was, and those connections, they felt deeper, stronger, because they weren't built on one-sided giving. They were mutual, honest. Others drifted, not in a dramatic way, just naturally. And that used to scare me, the idea of losing people, of not being needed anymore. But now, I saw it differently. If a relationship only exists because you're constantly giving, then it's not really a connection, it's a dependency. And letting go of that isn't loss, it's clarity. That realization, gave me something I didn't have before. Peace, not constant, not perfect, but real. Because I wasn't carrying everything anymore. I wasn't trying to prove my worth through how much I could handle. I wasn't measuring myself by how available I was. I was just existing and choosing where my energy goes. And that's powerful, more powerful than I ever expected. Because now, when I show up for someone, it's real, it's intentional, it's not coming from exhaustion or obligation. It's coming from a place of choice, and that makes it meaningful for both sides. Looking back, I don't regret who I was. I don't regret being there for people, caring deeply, giving generously. Those parts of me, they're still there. They just look different now, more balanced, more aware, more sustainable. Because I've learned something I wish I understood earlier. You can be kind without losing yourself. You can be supportive without carrying everything. You can be there for others without abandoning yourself. And if you're in that place right now where you feel like you've been giving everything, but when you look around, there's no one there for you, I want you to understand something. It doesn't mean you're not valued. It doesn't mean you're not important. It just means something needs to shift. Not in them. In you. In how you show up. In what you allow. In what you expect. Because people learn how to treat you by what you consistently accept. And if you've been accepting less than what you need, they won't know unless you change it. That change, it won't be easy. It might feel uncomfortable. It might feel wrong at first, but that doesn't mean it is. It just means you're doing something new, something honest, something necessary. And over time, that discomfort turns into something else. Respect, balance, peace, not just in your relationships, but within yourself. Because at the end of the day, you can give your time, your energy, your presence, but you should never give up yourself in the process. I learned that the hard way, but I learned it, and now I'm finally someone I can count on too.